Okay, so now we've progressed a little bit further. I did get it out of here, out of the case. A little bit of trouble. It didn't want to come out. Let's see, which one was it? Oh, out, pushing it out the back, I believe. Yeah, because the big heat sink was wanting to catch on this you can see. So I just couldn't, and I didn't want to be like, I was like, what the hell? So I put it back the other way, and the glue, if you look here, the glue on the back side, a little bit better. So, I don't know. Obviously, I mean, it's not a bad case. Could have had spent a little more. You can see glue drippings and stuff. Here you can see I was trying to push it, and it was catching. And not enough glue from this side. Anyway, so that's just showing you the inside of this guy. Not sure what all that is. That's an interesting substance there. Maybe just glue when I was scraping the glue, trying to get the chassis out. Yeah. Anyway, so we got that out. I'll show you what it all is. I thought I needed to take the feet off, but you don't, because that just goes far enough into the wood part of the chassis. But you do need to take these, obviously. Look at how long those are. So there is 1, 2 on one side and 5 on the other, it looks like. Yeah. So we don't lose them and drop them on the floor and whatever else. Put them in there. There you go. These I'll find. Put them in there. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4 rubber feet. Okay, so we got that out. Then I needed to get to this board. So, as I've thought, because it is cheap, made in China, I was pretty sure that these were going to not be chassis mounted, but mounted directly to the board. Chassis and directly to the board. So, come back here. Yep, I needed to get this board removed. As you can see, try to turn it a little bit and get some. Okay, there we go. That was connected to here, to this main board there. Anyway, there was glue like on that connector all over it. Just glue, and then there was just like spread and like glue strings, like when it's still heated up and it's stretching, you know. But I already cleaned it out because I didn't want to lose it in there on something. So there was glue all over, and to get this one off. But interesting is that connector, that is a permanent installation. That's not a connector. It looks like a connector, and that's straight on soldered into the other side. What the hell's that? So it would have been better. I could have left the glue over there and pulled this off, and to be able to dismount this board with the 3 jack connectors. But okay, well, we gotta live with it. It's not how I would design it, but anyway. And now I'll get to showing you where the problem is. I found it. Just a moment. Okay, so dismounting these 3, because they're all tied in. Now, anybody noticing? One is metal, grounding to the chassis. These 2 are plastic and need to be isolated from the chassis. Those over there, all 3 are metal, and what do we got there? That's a sand, tuner, return, and line out. Okay? Now, I need to study for the proper schematics. There was a couple of diagrams I saw, but they were not, but found online. Apparently, that how they route the, what do you call it, the grounding, they're running in different routes for these particular ones. Okay, obviously that's inputs. Foot switch, they want having it grounded directly right now immediately. This one will route later and will become out grounded, tie in later. Apparently. I haven't studied the schematics. I would need to get them. I just saw somebody have a pretty cheesy flow chart. So I'd like to see actually tracer proper. Anyway, don't have time for that. So I'll show you now. Give me a second here. Another part I'll get into is these are metal, but these are plastic. These first two. This is going to come important later when I show you the problem. Those washers, or washers to go on here, especially the one where I'm going to show you, is causing the problem. So I'm going to pull that out, since I already did it, because I can't do it with holding the camera in one hand. Okay, you might be able to already see if someone's got a clever eye. Look at that. There it is. That's broken. The plastic sheathing. Let me get something to do to point it. Hopefully there's enough light here. See that? So, when those washer, that one is fine. That's totally separate. That's the foot switch. When this washer goes on, yeah, that washer is, its face is on and making contact to the chassis, this metal chassis, right? So when let's see if I can get it on without, hold on. Now it's on there. Do you see now what's going to cause the problem? So now, any movement or get something to move that with, it's going to cause that to drop in there, make contact with this, and to the chassis. Not only that, I'll put a connector in there, but since that is now damaged or broken, it moves a lot, and it could be also making different connections in the back here, or flexing and making it open or short, or shorting something. I haven't pulled out my multimeter, but this looks pretty, but it needs to be replaced. Anyway, this jack, this one, I will order two. Problem is we have a rehearsal tomorrow, and I don't know where I'm going to get one by then. So what my idea is, I'm going to probably pull that one off, move it to there. That's my idea. In the meantime, I'm going to be scrambling my brain for some second ideas. I did ask my other members if they have any spares in their arsenal at home. So we'll see who shows up tomorrow with anything. Okay, just a second, we'll continue. Okay, let's see if this works. I've mounted the phone on the table. Now, I've left the washer on and put a jack in there. Now watch this. And it's actually the whole chassis, not chassis of the amp, but chassis of this actual connector is now straining with itself, because now there's more movement for the actual jack to move inside. So now look, hopefully you can see that little connector. You see that moving in there? That's going to be the one to the ring tips. And you can see it, the actual chassis is, plastic chassis is flexing. There. Look at that. So you push it up. So that's where I had the problem. I had to push up the guitar cable connector to make it work. And when I let the cable just naturally release and hold itself down, that. Not a very well designed. So I'll have to figure out something later how to keep the load off of it. Because I usually run cables through the back, through the back and around some handle or tape it down or whatever, but sometimes this is on a tour, and a small little tour, they say. We've used it for many bands and cooperation. Anyway, that's it. So I gotta find a solution for that. Thought I'd follow up with a side view. Now watch this. Let's see if it zooms in properly there, as you can get focused. Now look. It's naturally see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of going down. That's the down side. Now I don't know why, because I have other amps like my Mesa or Mesa Boogie, that it is a metal connector connected to metal chassis. Now I gotta look on the back side of that, because anyway, I don't know why they would do that. And you can see it's not really nice and snug snapping in, but now that it's damaged, it's probably not wanting to snap in properly. Anyway, 5-point, got to send that out, or unsolder that out. There we go. That is it. This guy. Let's see if it'll focus in there. Focusing in. Oh, the washer's in the way. We can see it though. Let's pull the washer out. But that's the point. The washer now fell into that crevice, or the crack that's exposed the outer sheath, or the metal part of that jack. See? So if that's holding that to the chassis, that's like that, and then you somehow this pulls it, and it's gonna, this can make contact. All right, that's it, man. And see, it's not wanting to hold in very well. Okay. Well, let you give my little overview of this amp while it's open. Looks kind of, I mean, there's a lot of open space. Oh, maybe that's for another to put here if designed. I don't know. I don't have other Behringer amps. Behringer amp. Just this one. That one there. We got Mesa. Another Mesa. Okay. So there's the board across the back. It's on one big PC board here. There's your heat sink and a fan mounted to the back, which is not so bad. Keeps it cool. It runs quite well, so been happy for that. The amp has been pretty good. It only just happened this problem, so hopefully. And we've had it since 2006, I believe. So, wow, that'll be, wow, what? 2006? So now it's 2026, so that's going to be 20 years? Holy smokes. No way. Is it? 2006? Holy smokes, it is. So, this amp has got to be about 20 years old. So, that's the only problem I've had with it, is now that connector. that I'm trying to sort out now. Okay. I got to come up with a quick solution for the weekend. And next week we have a concert. So, all right. Okay. We'll pull things together. Okay. Quick continuation on this problem. I am going to try for a quick solution because we have a rehearsal tomorrow, and I just need to stop the connection on that sleeve, making it to the grounding here. So, we're going to try and see if this solution works. I'm going to tape that. And then we'll just support the cable by running it through the over the back and under the amp and to the front so that there's no weight pulling it down, and have a solution for the weekend until the new connector arrives. Maybe, hopefully, maybe one guy, both guys, drummer and guitar player or bass player, maybe has some extra bits at home. The one guy has lots of strange bits and parts and pieces. So we're gonna try that to close that gap. Electrical tape, stretch it and finally tape that, put it in delicately, and to at least stop it for this weekend until we get the jack ordered. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, looks like maybe that solution might work. Let's try to see if I can get that back on. Can't do it one-handed. Hold, give me a second. Look at that. Okay, that's gonna work. I think it'll work. So I'm gonna mount this back in, plug it in, but I won't put it back into the main wooden chassis, the housing, and we'll do a test. We'll just plug that old bass in there and give it a big volume test. So, and with volume vibrations. Okay, let's try it. There it is, mounted back in. It's not mounted, it's just pushed in. I was going to say at my other studio, which is a totally different location, I have a lot of weird, strange spare parts. I wouldn't be surprised if I had one of these. Out there, I have a whole bag, box full of strange bits and pieces. Yeah, okay, we're going to put these back on, connect it up, and test it. All right. It is fastened back in, secured back in. It's much nicer when you put this guy in over here. Yeah. Never was a fan of when they have to do them with plastic, but that's somehow they engineered it with the routing of the when they run the grounding. Okay, so now we're gonna connect this connector back up back here. I'll do that, and we'll do a follow-up. Let's see if I can do it on camera. Kind of hard though, one-handed here. Let's see. Classic. Oh, look at that. See? I'm going to check it off camera. Make sure. I can see why. That's kind of... You could. This is a bass amp, and if it's sitting on top of the cabinet, a lot of rumbling. Vibrations, maybe that would vibrate off, I guess. Why would they use a connector that would vibrate out? It should be like a... where you got to pinch something to pull it out, a release, a little release thing, not just where it's just gonna pull out. It's kind of weird, huh? There's over there one too. Look at that. Glue. But if you see, This one here, that one is soldered there. Soldered right to the board. So if you want to do, you have to break the glue here. So they soldered it directly to the board. But this one is glued. You gotta break the glue. Oh, maybe that's another. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's a little trick to. What do you call it? Checking out warranties and stuff. If somebody's been back there. Don't know. But maybe it's a dual purpose. But for sure it's holding it there. I had to peel the glue off. I don't need to get to that one right now. So I let that be. That's for the meter. This guy. And the meter's totally functioned. Even the backlit, the light in the back works. So not gonna mess with that. Problem only is with the jack. So back to jack business. Hello, Jack. Let's say greetings to plug. It's coming, but I gotta make sure this connector there. Okay, and you can see here it's not wobbly like it was before. So that little bit of fix there is holding it more secure in the pocket. But I'm not gonna jiggly right now with it. I want to hold it secure at least so we can do a rehearsal tomorrow. Okay, so I haven't put it back in the chassis. Wooden chassis, I must say. I'm not putting it back in yet. I want to make sure it works. And so, quickly on my voice, if it sounds funny, I picked up a little Kinder virus from my kids. So, alright, there's the speaker cable. Going to these guys down here. And, I need to get I gotta get me a guitar cable. And the power cable. So, power cable. So, let's put that in. Seems a little shaky here, but okay. Here we are back here. Okay. Okay. That's in. Alright. Cable. Alright, this one we're going to do so I don't put too much weight on that connector. I'm just going to run it through this handle here. Okay. So that it's not pulling all the way down the floor. And I don't have a chance to step on it. Yeah? Yeah. You see? Okay, put that there. Cable down here. Alright, let's see how that'll work. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. Oh. See, it doesn't... Alright, it's a lot more different. Let's try it. Plug it into that base there. I don't need to pick it up and put it on. We're just going to strum some stuff and let it ring and see if we can replicate the problem. Okay, we're in. Let's turn this on. Back here. Oh, it's going. Fan is already starting. Power. All right. Let's turn this on. Oh, I can hear it. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that was exactly our problem. Damn. Okay. That cheap ass plastic housing. Okay. See, it's going, dude. Oh. What happened there? Oh, I pulled it out. There. I pulled it out. But somehow it's not sticking so well, so. Look at that. But I can't push on it without anchoring it down. Yeah, but it's working. I'm going to have to come up with some maybe a clip on the side of the amp that holds these. I don't know. Anybody else out there who has an idea? Once to get it back in the chassis, maybe I will make some clips that just quickly snap in or something. Plug in there. Because the last thing you want to do is trip over that or bump it. Problem is, though, it sticks out so far. I don't know why they. And this is plastic. Chassis is metal, plastic and metal. Well, one of them's gonna give first. Yeah. Okay. But it is working. I'm happy with that. As long as it's so far. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Bounce it a little more. Cool. Yeah, now it's, before it was a big problem. So just that bit of tape to keep that from grounding out to the chassis. That was the problem. Okay. So anybody else has that problem, now you know. Permanent solution will be when I get the new connector. Alright, I think that satisfies. Because I'll play this pretty loud, dude. Cool. Alright, I think that's a good test. I'm going to put it back into the guy. Because we're going to be playing tomorrow. So I don't want to have this exposed. It's not, now I know how to get it all open. It's not that difficult. And then when I get the connector, I will get my soldering station and we'll change it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, not so bad. I'm happy for that. At least we can rehearse. Nice. Okay.